Hi friends, it's Auntie Cuckoo. Welcome to our home. So today I'm going to do a little walkthrough of our house and show you guys how I've decorated this year for Halloween. I know Halloween may look different for you guys depending on where you live. To be honest, I don't even know what it'll look like here. I guess we'll find out in a couple of days. But I decorated and we've been enjoying it. And if you saw my Hobby Lobby clearance haul, you probably recognize this shelf up here. I did get it at a steal, and it's been a lot of fun to add a little bit of decor to the top shelf in my coffee area. Now let's go over to my hutch, which is the main area I decorate in our eat-in kitchen. Every year I get asked where I got my hutch. I bought it secondhand on a buy and sell website in my area. I encourage you guys to do that and think about how you can change it. It's been a few colors, painted out a few times, and it is so fun to switch out for the holidays. So if you saw my last round of DIYs, you'll recognize a few things over in this area. I did use my candy corn pom-pom wreath up here in my tobacco basket and just added a little sign. Now last year I did candy corn over in my hutch, but this year I switched it up a bit. I didn't do full out candy. I didn't want to have a lot of candy on hand, but I did want to reuse a lot of the things that I have DIY'd this season. And at first I wasn't even sure I was going to use any pumpkins in this area, but I decided to go ahead and do it. What I did is just put a pumpkin mask in the back of this basket. It is something that I love. A friend gifted it to me from Walmart. Then I just filled the basket with all kinds of pumpkins I had on hand from Dollar Tree and Walmart, and added my candy corn picks from Michael's, a dish towel that I got at Home Goods, and a few other trinkets to make it look like this was some sort of weird Halloween candy corn bakery. On this shelf, I used a lot of my DIYs. I used my pumpkin pom-pom candy corn cone tree, and then my whipped cream toppers that I made back in fall, just set them on top of those little pumpkins from Walmart. And in the back, I was finally able to find the bottle brush trees at Walmart. I was on the hunt for those. I also used my large cone candy corn that I covered with yarn from the Dollar Tree and just filled this jar with candy corn that I've been collecting over the last few years. I actually keep it with my decor and have to shoo the kids away because they want to eat it, of course, and I have to explain that it is a few years old. Down here, I use more of my DIYs from the fall, all my cake pops and caramel and candy apples. I also did put my pumpkin out for my candy corn series and my whipped cream toppers. In the back, you'll see more of my cake pops that I made during the fall. You've probably noticed that the back of my hutch is yellow. I just used some wrapping paper to add that hint of yellow to go with my candy corn decor this year. In the last few years for Halloween, I've used a black and white stripe, so that may be something you want to think of for different seasons. That if you do decorate a hutch, you can always change it up by adding a different color paper or fabric to the back of your hutch. I'll put last year's tour in the description below and in an iCard for you in case you want to see how I've switched it up this year. Now let's head into the living room and I'll show you more areas that I've decorated. Each year I try to do something a little bit different and use what I already have, add in maybe some new treasures that I find along the way that year. It's always a challenge. Our space is really small, but I think this year I really like how everything turned out. We have this little dresser in our living room. I got it for $5 at a yard sale, and I always do a little something on top. So this year I used a few of my pumpkin statues, and I added a bunch of tissue paper at the bottom of these two, and then just piled some candy on top, and the kids have been waiting and asking, "Mom, have you filmed the tour yet? Can we have the candy yet?" And then over on my mantle, I used the mantle scarf that I made last year. So I got a lot of questions last year about it. I did not make a video on it or have a pattern even. I just laid out some fabric that I really liked, started cutting triangles, and just kind of pieced it together. I love it. I made it custom to fit my mantle. So if we ever move, I hope that it will still work. I think it is such a great pop of color, especially in our home. I try and keep everything neutral so that when I do decorate for a holiday, all the colors really shine. On top of my mantle, I used more of my pumpkin collection, and this little piece in the center that is black is actually a clock I got at a thrift store, and the clock was missing. I think it cost me all of $3. Now, decorating my mantle is always a challenge. It can be even a little stressful for a few reasons. Obviously, we have our television above our fireplace. I would love to have a beautiful mantle with something like a mirror above it, but we have to go with function over form. And we have the cords in the lower right corner, so I'm always looking for a way to sort of hide them. Didn't do great this year, but I was gonna do 2 large stuffed pumpkins on either side of my mantle, and then decided it just didn't look right, and just to use my entire collection of pumpkins that I've picked up from all kinds of places over the years. And since I used all my pumpkins, or almost all of them, on my mantle, I decided to do this whole area in all of the black cats I've been collecting over the last couple of years. So this is the view when you walk into our home. This is what is dead ahead of you, and it's a busy area. We walk past here a few times every day, but I think it is a lot of fun to have it all decorated for each season. So I used my stacked pumpkin on the chair, very easy to do. Next to that is another decorating challenge. This area I always have to kind of play around with. So what you don't know is that behind that planked wooden piece you see is the door to a hot water heater. Now I have no idea why they designed the house this way, but I know that older houses have lots of different little quirks. And it's actually turned out to be kind of a blessing, because that wooden backing that is hiding the door serves as the greatest backdrop for all of my decorating. Kind of like a trick turned into a treat. Now over here I did use a pumpkin I picked up for $5 on a buy and sell website a few years back, and then a tiered tray that I got at 90% off from Hobby Lobby. And then I just have been collecting all of these black cat candy dishes, and I just tried to put a little something different in each of them. I also used my black cat mask in the back, and it all goes so well with my large sign, "Welcome, Happy Halloween" from Michael's. When the kids were growing up, I just decorated for harvest and fall, and then I spent most of my time and energy on their costumes. They have great imaginations and have always been good at coming up with things that I couldn't purchase off the rack in the store. Our oldest wanted to be a skeleton bat one year, so luckily I was able to piece that together. Our daughter wanted to be the Queen of Halloween when she was about 3 years old, and then our little guy wanted to be an exterminator. It wasn't easy at the time, but looking back, those were some great memories. Now, switching gears over to our entryway, I did pick up this black cat from Michael's this year. I think it goes perfectly with my style that I'm trying to figure out for Halloween. I definitely don't like scary or gory, and I hopefully someday down the road will be a grandma. So I want to be sure that it is fun and exciting and magical for the kids. It's not something that scares them or gives them nightmares. So I've been trying to pick up things each year. I have to say I have loved what Michael's has done the last couple of years. Now, while I don't have real vintage items, I do feel like I'm kind of collecting a look that is vintage, and it doesn't cost as much as true vintage items. One thing that I love on this shelf is this trick or treat sign that I picked up last year from Joann Fabric. I really like to see what each store is putting out, and honestly, if I didn't film it and take you guys with me, I'd still be going to look. That way I can kind of piece together things that I like and make it my own. Now, switching gears again behind me over near what I like to call my office in my recliner, we do have a mirror that I decorated this year with a black garland. And then I just put an ornament garland that I found at Marshall's in with it. I had grand plans to deck it out with all kinds of ribbon that I went ahead and purchased. So look forward to that next year. Kind of ran out of oomph this year. I also put a wreath I picked up at Target that I think matches the garland perfectly. With the wreath on top of the mirror in the evening, the light just bounces off these little lanterns and makes everything sparkle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick look into my real world and this walk through our house to see how I've decorated. I hope no matter how you're spending your Halloween, whether you'll be home or out and about, that you do have a very happy Halloween. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you back very soon.